So today we're talking about challenges and obstacles. Now, obviously, obstacles can come to you and they can just happen in your life, or you can actually seek them out. Now, obviously, we don't always have control over the obstacles that come to us, but what we can do is we can be happy they're there. Marcus Aurelius says that we should not see this as misfortune, but to bear this worthily is good fortune, meaning that it's not bad news that we have this obstacle, but actually to actually be able to manage it correctly is good fortune. It's going to make us better. Another similar quote is to say, "Will accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." We complain about the obstacles and the issues that we're going through, but can you think of anything better for this period of time? Maybe you need to learn a lesson. Maybe you need to develop. Maybe you need to grow. But as I said, this episode is more about seeking out challenges because, as we know, challenges make the man, and therefore we should seek them out. Obviously, then the first stage would be, well, what person do I wish to be? Because for a Formula One driver or an MMA fighter, the challenges and obstacles are going to be very different. So we need to understand who we are today and where we need to get to. What character traits does that person possess? Is it discipline, resilience, creativity? What skills do they excel in? Is it public speaking, leadership, physical endurance, let's say? How do they see failure and setbacks? Do they see it as a positive and part of the success process, or are they scared to fail? What values do they live by? You could be an athlete, you could be a comedian, or even an entrepreneur, but you'll see that for every archetype of person, if that's the best word to use, there's a different process that's required in order to achieve that position. Once we realize the type of person that we want to be, we need to realize something, that growth can only happen outside of our comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen when life is easy, when you're living at home, being cooked for 3 times a day, you're getting fat and overweight and playing on video games all day. It's shaped by challenges, by tasks, by discipline, by duty. You don't become a world class athlete unless you stick to routines. You need to push your physical and mental limits. You need to get a good coach. You need to have a good mentality. You need to seek out good people to fight. You need to go through maybe some injuries. There's going to be many things that is part of that quote unquote hero's journey. An entrepreneur has probably failed in business numerous times before they finally achieve financial success. Therefore, they have sought out opportunities to invest and start business in. I mean, even as an author, J.K. Rowling, she would have been rejected many times because she was outside of her comfort zone. As I said, we need to seek the right challenges. We need to identify the skills and traits we need to develop. If you need self-confidence, maybe it's approaching potential partners, maybe it's public speaking. Once we identify the trait, we can start to see areas that will improve that. If it's endurance and resilience, maybe it's climbing a mountain, Mount Everest. But when we understand what it is we're trying to achieve, our mind can seek out these opportunities. I believe it's the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, isn't it? That when if we're looking for a Honda Civic car, we start seeing Honda Civics everywhere. When we start looking for opportunities to develop these certain skill sets, we will see them. And when we look for these opportunities for discomfort, we can then actually undertake them. A chef might push themselves by attempting more complex, intricate recipes. A fighter might take on a fight they don't feel ready for. An author might challenge themselves by actually trying to get published, or trying a new genre or different writing styles, risking rejection and critique. Welcome failure as a teacher, then, and as part of your process. Instead of avoiding it, embrace it. The best people in the world have failed the most. Michael Jordan has missed more basketball shots than you or me, but he's better. The world champion boxer has been hit in the face more times than me or you, but they're better. They seek out challenges and obstacles. The obstacle is the way. We're not saying just to jump in, though. We're not saying just to jump into a world championship fight. Obviously, that's not physically possible anyway, but let's use it as an example. We need to gradually push the boundaries, toe out the comfort area, toe out the comfort area. And actually, after a year or so, you'll start to see my comfort area is now fighting amongst the best in the world. If you see yourself as low quality, you will remain low quality. Now, we've agreed that we need to seek out challenges. We've agreed that we need to seek out specific challenges in line with who we wish to be. But there are benefits of this as well psychologically. We build resilience. We understand that this toughness mentally can help us to navigate life's unpredictability. Oprah Winfrey is a good example. We know that we are heading towards mastery, and this can give us inner satisfaction, and we can strengthen the belief in our own ability. So have a think about what you want to be in life, what character or archetype you want to be. Do you want to climb the world's highest mountains and climb them like Alex Honnold in the worst possible way? Do you want to be a fighter, used as an example? Do you want to be a comedian and face the risk of failure and being ridiculed by an audience? But you have to go through that in order to be the best in the world. These are the challenges you seek out. You know that in the next year, I'm going to be laughed at by comedians. I'm sorry, by the audience as a comedian. I mean, my podcast, there's probably friends, family, audience members that are laughing, but I'm not a pussy. I know that this is what I need to do if I want this to be successful. The animal I like to use an example of that seeks out challenges is the eagle. While most birds will shy away and hide from a storm, an eagle doesn't. It flies directly into a storm, and it uses the storm to fly above the clouds, to bliss. It breaks its beak, it breaks its feet, it breaks its body, essentially, by retiring into the mountains when it gets to middle age, let's say. And it breaks it in order for it to grow back stronger and emerges like a new bird. Just like with us seeking out challenges that shape us and make us stronger. If we always take the easy route, life will be harder later on. We need to expose ourselves very early and often to difficult challenges, uncomfortable situations. So identify the gaps, and this is really important part. Obviously, we've said we need to define who we want to be, identify the gaps, and then realize that seeking out the right challenges deliberately, and then embracing the failure that evidently will happen, and then track your growth. Problem is that most people, and that's probably a lot of you listening, because most people is most people, and you have to realize that in order to be different, you have to be different. And I know it just sounds like an idiotic comment, but it is true. You have to flick that switch inside that's going to make you want to be a legend. Because most people want the results, but not the journey. I'd love to be like Alexander Usyk, top of the world. I'd love to be like John Jones. I'd love to be like Lionel Messi. I'd love to be like Djokovic. I'd love to be like Max Verstappen. I'd love to be like Magnus Carlsen. There's so many things here that we need to understand. They all wanted the results badly enough that they were willing to go through the journey. Understand that you have a duty to yourself. The person that you dream of is within your reach. And the reason that you dream of that person is because it is within your reach. You won't have a belief that's outside of your ability. You have a duty to yourself to achieve that. You've got to step up, do it for yourself, do it for your family, do it for society.